Now we're going to make poppy seed cookies, or as my grandmother called them, mun cookies. So as you can tell, this was my grandmother's recipe, and we had to watch her make it and then try to calculate the measurements from that. So they were a little bit rough, and we'll just kind of play it by ear a little bit. First we need 3 eggs. And a 1/2 cup of sugar. This is a 1/4 measuring cup. So we'll just beat those together. Our next ingredient is a 1/2 cup of oil. Any kind of vegetable shortening will do. And a 1/4 of a cup of poppy seeds. These give it really good flavor. A teaspoon of vanilla, and a pinch of salt. Now the recipe calls for 3 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So we'll begin adding the flour. This is a 1/2 cup. So we'll start with 2 and mix that in. So after 2 cups of flour, it's beginning to look like cookie dough now. So we'll add the baking powder. Teaspoons of baking powder. Stir that in. And I think we'll add a 1/2 cup more of flour, just to make sure it's not too gooey to handle. So far this will be 2.5 cups instead of 3, and we'll see how it goes. So this would be our last 1/2 cup of flour, bringing the total to 3. And as you can see, it's really stiff, but that'll make less mess when we go to cut our cookies. I'm going to add 1 more teaspoon of baking powder just to make sure they rise nicely. Next, you're going to want to put it out on a board and roll it out so that we can start cutting the cookies. I always like to put some wax paper on my table first. That makes cleanup much easier. Wax paper, a little bit of flour, and the dough. And roll it out until it's about a 1/2 inch thick. My grandmother always used cookie cutters that were in the shape of the suits of the playing cards, diamonds, hearts, spades, and clubs, or else circles. So we're just going to use circles today. And the cookies go right onto the cookie sheet. Nothing fancy about this recipe. And if you can't fit a whole glass on there, just do a half one. It makes it cute. Cookies don't spread very much, so you don't have to worry about putting them too close together on the baking sheet. So into the oven at 375 until they're brown. I'll have to watch it, maybe 15 or 20 minutes or so. Here we go. This recipe really doesn't make a whole lot of cookies, maybe 2 dozen at the most. So you might want to just keep rolling out the dough and cutting your cookies, and then rolling up the scraps and using them again for the next batch of cookies that you want to cut. I'll show you what I mean. So we just have this little bit left now. You roll it up and keep rolling it out and cutting more cookies until you can't cut anymore. Like this will probably be the last one. There's the last one. There's the last bit of dough, and we can just roll that up, flatten it out. That'll be my taster when I take it out of the oven. Well, it's been 15 minutes, so we'll take a peek and see if they're ready. Ah, yes, golden brown. So we'll put them on a cooling sheet and eat them up.